We'll start off now with the winner in the Oakland County area, in the Lakes area, in the greater West Bloomfield area of the 20th Congressional District here in the state of Michigan. That's for the State House of Representatives. Noah Arbit, a Democrat, won that race last night over his challenger, Albert Mansour, and joins us now on the Megacast. Before we get to Noah, I do have to provide some disclosure on this. I've known Noah for a very long time. He and I grew up together. We went to elementary through middle school together, and his twin brother, Evan, and I persisted going to school from kindergarten all the way through high school as well. Noah, thanks for being with us today, and congratulations on your victory in the 20th District.
Thank you, Tyler. It's so great to be with you. And yes, we have known each other for forever, it seems. So it's great to be here.
Yeah, great to have you on as well. And now that you have won this position, it's I would imagine a lot easier to take that breath of fresh air and get ready to get to work as you head to Lansing to begin your term in January. But let's go back to what onset your idea to run for office here in the state of Michigan, to represent your hometown as well in the State House of Representatives. What prompted that in your head to say, you know what, I want to run for office. I want to represent the people of my hometown and the area that I grew up in at this time in our history?
Yeah, well, you recently mentioned the ballot proposals, and in 2018 we also had a series of three ballot proposals. One of which was Proposition 2 of 2018, which was about redistricting and making sure that Michigan had nonpartisan, independent redistricting commission to make sure that we eliminate gerrymandering in the state of Michigan. And the West Bloomfield area in particular had been gerrymandered relentlessly and partisanly for 20 years. I never aspired to run for office. It was never something I had, an ambition to do, a longstanding ambition to do, or a hankering for. But our community, I felt, was not being represented with the values that I think our community represents and shares. And we had been partisanly gerrymandered. And so I called all the local elected officials after the last election. I said, "Hey, we need someone good to run," and no one wanted to run. So I said, "Okay, fine, I'm going to run." I've been in and around, sort of the political governmental space, working for Governor Whitmer at the Oakland County Prosecutor's Office, in and around that space. And it just sort of came together. And, I'm very grateful and gratified and would love to thank, all those who voted for me and even those who didn't. I look forward to representing you and your interests with faith and fidelity in the state legislature. And as you mentioned, to represent my hometown, it is just, it is so meaningful and such a profound honor, and I'm very humbled by the trust that the people of West Bloomfield, Commerce, and the Lakes have put in me to represent them. So
We're joined by Noah Arbit, a Democrat who was elected on election day to the Michigan House of Representatives in the 20th District. That's in the greater West Bloomfield area and the Lakes area as well, representing parts of all four of our communities for our flagship here at Civic Center TV. And Noah, what was one of the hallmarks of yesterday, of this particular election cycle, was the involvement of young people during the primaries, certainly getting behind these ballot initiatives and even running for office in Michigan and across the union. We saw in Ann
yeah,
Arbor and in East Lansing and our college towns, people on campus, students waiting for several hours throughout the night
yes,
to get their same day registration and to
that's right.
vote, persisting all throughout the night. And just shows the impact that young people are having in our electorate today. And so for you,
Yes.
being in your 20s, being one of the younger members of our State House of Representatives now, speak to that involvement of young people in politics today and how our generation now is in a position to start to turn the tide of leadership in our state of Michigan, certainly in our local area, and make some meaningful changes that not only help the generations before us, but will help our generation and those after.
That's exactly right. And I will be the youngest person to ever represent this community in the state legislature by far. And I think it takes all kinds, to represent and to make government work for people. And the voices of young people, just as voices of all different types of communities is so important. That representation is so important. I think about our economy. I think about how the young people right now emerging in today's economy is so different and new, and the variables that they confront are so new and different than the variables 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago. And so to have if we're not paying attention to that and making policy that is addressing that and addressing how the job market works, the labor market works, all of that, today, then we're having a serious blind spot in our economic policy. And so if we want to make sure that Michigan is a place where everyone has, the rights and opportunities to go as far as their talents and ambitions will take them, to make sure that it's a place where, every child, is raised believing that there are no constraints, no limits on what they can achieve. And I think we need, a legislature and a government that looks like our people in Michigan. And so I'm really excited to get into the legislature and start crafting policy. Bold, forward-thinking, innovative, common sense policies that are going to advance, our state and our interest for everyone. And I think that is not a partisan issue. Advocating for young people just as much as we would for older people. I want to build a Michigan that cares about how we raise our kids, but also about how we treat our seniors. And I think all of that, can be done. And I think, one of the really exciting things about this is that we do have so many diverse voices coming in, and for the first time in 40 years, we have a Democratic majority in both chambers of the legislature, and the diversity of voices that that's going to allow for, because we haven't had it for 40 years, is going to be something that is quite interesting and fascinating to behold. It really is unprecedented, and there is no playbook for it. But I'm excited to see what happens, and looking forward to representing West Bloomfield in part of those conversations, and really making sure that our community has a strong voice, put really on the map in Lansing. So I'm very excited about it.
Noah, we appreciate you joining us, especially on the short notice. Certainly an exciting time for you and a busy time for you as you've now been elected to state Congress. And so appreciate you joining us, giving us some insight. We'll definitely keep updated with you on all of our programming here at Civic Center TV, certainly across the Oakland County area here on the Megacast as well. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Tyler. Great to see you.